On today's episode, we are doing the Ugly Duckling Challenge for spring. I am so excited to show you how we are going to make over this piece. Now, this piece was not ugly to begin with, although it did look like it could have come from Dracula's lair or something haunted, but it's going to get a newer look to it to match our bedroom set, which we actually got for free, and we got this bed for free as well. For 2024, my first Ugly Duckling Challenge is going to be the theme of finishing something you've been putting off for a really long time. So it does not necessarily need to be very ugly to begin with. It just needs to be something that you've been waiting to do for a really long time and life got in the way, or maybe you were putting it off because it was going to be really hard, which is why I wasn't doing this project yet. But I want everybody to take this time for spring to finish something that's going to make them feel super accomplished. So if you are new to my channel, you may not know what the Ugly Duckling Challenge is, but I challenge other YouTubers and just other people in general, anybody can do this, to create a video where they make over an ugly duckling into a beautiful swan. And I like to do this every season. So this is our spring Ugly Duckling Challenge, and this is my piece that I'm choosing. And I'm going to have a playlist linked in the description box down below that has all the videos of the participants flipping their pieces or their rooms or their decor, whatever it is that they're flipping to make beautiful, so that you guys can check it out after my video. You are going to be amazed at the creativity of the people who get involved in the Ugly Duckling Challenge. They do such cool stuff, and you're going to be hooked and waiting for the next Ugly Duckling Challenge, I promise you. But this bed I got for free off of Facebook Marketplace almost 2 years ago when we first moved to Houston, Texas from Arizona. It had this Federalist style top, which is very popular here in Houston, Texas. It was something that was all over the place, especially in like the 70s and 80s on the architecture of houses and whatnot. But we got this furniture set of nightstands and a dresser for free as well off of Facebook. And I wanted to make the bed match the furniture set that we have and kind of update this. This bed is not antique. So if you're watching this thinking, oh no, don't touch it, it's antique, don't worry. I know it's not antique because it's a king size bed. So antique beds didn't come in a king size, first of all. But it is a remake of an antique style. It just looks a little bit too spooky looking for my decor style. And although I can completely appreciate its beauty, it just wasn't working for our style. I like light and bright, and our master bedroom is very dark. It's on the bottom floor and doesn't get a lot of natural light, even though it has big windows. And it's because our outside of our house is very heavily wooded with big pine trees. So our whole entire downstairs is very dark, even during the day. Like, if you go in there during the day, you still have to turn the light on if it's cloudy outside. So we're kind of tired of that dreary, depressing, dark feeling that we get downstairs. And so we're going to go light and bright on everything. We had a really hard time, well, I should say my husband had a really hard time getting the nuts off of these bolts because the bolts were really chewed up. And I kind of understand why the person was giving it away for free because of this reason. And it also had some areas on the sideboards that were pretty damaged, and it would have had to be painted in order for it to be fixed, or have somebody who's excellent at matching wood grain, because there was a big old piece of Bondo on one of the sides of the railing. And this footboard, although super beautiful, is something that scares me because when my 2-year-old is laying with me in bed, she likes to get up and crawl around, and she uses that footboard to stand up on the bed. And it scares me to death because I'm scared she's going to fall and bust her face on it. So we're going to just go ahead and get rid of those side rails that are pretty damaged. And I don't even know if we'd be able to find new bolts for that again. We'd have to like completely rebuild a new way to put that back together. But we're just going to take those off and reuse them later for shelves when I do a room makeover for my master bedroom, because I am going to be repainting the walls and the trim. I want to go white on the walls and do the trim in a taupe color. I think that'd be really pretty. But here I tried to show you how the bolts were really chewed up on the ends. Like, there was no way we could get a bolt back on there. The threads were completely gone in one spot and just really damaged. But we looked on the back and found out that the top is connected to the bottom with just these braces on the back. So I was worried we were going to have to cut all that off, and it would be kind of like an unclean cut and really jagged and hard to get it straight. And there were just so many different angles here going on that cutting it was going to make it possibly imperfect in a too far gone kind of way. So instead, we were able to remove that whole top piece off, and somebody can reuse that for a really awesome top of like a buffet or something like that, or like a console, some kind of antique dresser they can put that on top of. But we are going to be donating that piece to anybody who wants it. And taking these brackets off the back, and I want to create this like faux metal piece to go across the top to mimic the dressers. But first, it's time to get some paint on here. I am not going to prime this piece, and I'm not going to sand this piece. The reason for that is this was kind of an experiment in seeing how this paint would last. So I got an interior flat enamel, not enamel, I got a latex paint, which I know a lot of people really, really hate latex paints, but I don't want a perfect finish on this. Our bedroom style is kind of like a French farmhouse, French chateau, French country look, but with a little bit of a modern touch to it. And I think that doing it in this like smoky gray color, it's kind of like a smoky brown that is leaning towards gray. It looks really gray on camera, but in the can it looks kind of more brown to me. It's just one of those colors where you don't really know what color it is. It could be interpreted in different ways. But I'm going for this kind of like dry brushed look on here to make it seem antique French style, and I think that it turns out exactly how I wanted it to, and I am so excited about that. But I was experimenting to see how this latex paint would do on this surface. This thing was just way too massive for me to go take it outside. It probably weighs, even without that top piece on there, it still probably weighs like 250 pounds. This thing is extremely heavy. So it would have been really difficult for us to get it outside and bring it back in and all of that. And we have 4 kids, and our time is divided up very particularly. So we have to make sure that if we're going to take the time to do something, that it's not taking away from our kids for too much. So we decided not to do any of that heavy prep work on here and just see if the paint does well. And guess what? It did do really well. So it all worked out. And I just wanted to share the reason behind that, because I know there's going to be a lot of people asking questions like, why didn't you prime it? Why didn't you do this? And here's something that I learned. When you use flat paint, it has less of a likelihood to get that bleed through when you're painting over wood. Sometimes the stain can bleed through. But if you're doing something that has a lot of gloss in it, that clear coat that's in the gloss really pulls the stains out. And this was a flat paint. And guess what, guys? This flat paint, I found it in my house when I moved in. So I didn't spend any money on this. I didn't spend any money on this furniture either. And now my husband is going to create a piece of wood to kind of mimic that straight black handle that's on here on the top of the bed. This 1x2 piece of wood was kind of the only money we spent on this project. I had everything else already. I had the paint. I had black paint on hand to paint this with already as well. And I had paintbrushes already. And I love doing projects with using what I have, because I know that the majority of everybody else who is DIYing out of necessity because the budget just isn't there for you to buy new. So if you can use what you have, do that. Use what you have. You don't have to have everything perfect or looking exactly like it's from the store. You can get creative with what you have and still make it into something that you absolutely love, or at the very least, you can make it into something better than it was. So it may not be that magazine-worthy Pottery Barn style furniture or whatever it is that you desire but can't afford. It can just be something that you like better than how it was. And that is something that I love to do here on my channel, is make over things in a realistic way that anybody can copy and that anybody with any budget can do as well. So if you have a piece of furniture that's outdated and it's not your style at all, see what a fresh coat of paint can do. Go to the Oops section where they clearance out paints that were mistinted and buy a $4 can of paint and paint that thing that you think looks ugly right now. And I swear you will see it in a whole new light. It's really not as hard as it seems, and anybody can do this. My husband is anchoring the headboard to the wall now. Like we were saying, this thing is really heavy. So he anchored it into some studs so that this baby is not moving. And now you finally get to see what I was talking about this 1x2. So we're going to create what looks like an iron bar across the top. When we took that top piece off, there was holes right there where the other piece had slid in and where the little brackets were on the back. So we're just putting this on there to disguise that, and also taking it as a moment to match how those side tables look. And once I'm all done with the project today, I'm going to make the bed with some new bedding that I got, and I also got a new piece of art to go over top of the bed. When that huge arched top was gone off of here, I felt like it was just so naked on the wall there. So I had to go up to the store and get some 50% off art, cheap, from Hobby Lobby. I think I spent like maybe $25 on this piece of art. And it looks really high end. It looks like designer, expensive, like you would buy it in an Ashley furniture store or at Pottery Barn, I guess. Like it's a really nice piece of art. And my husband hung that up for me. And he has been helping me out so much. So if you're new, you may not know this, but my husband actually quit his job and is now going to college full-time, and he is working on getting a computer science bachelor's. And it has been so hard, man. I swear, being out of school for a long time and then trying to go back, these kids are way ahead of where we were when we finished high school. That is for dang sure. But I picked up this bed skirt in a dark gray, just like the rest of the furniture, from the at-home store. It was $20, I think, and I just tucked it in until it fit the right size for the height of my bed stand there. And then I got this cute little like throw blanket. It's kind of like a quilt, but not fully a quilt. It's just a nice soft white blanket, and it's already starting to get hot here, you guys. I don't know what kind of summer we're gonna have if it's already hot in March, but I am not looking forward to it. But I wanted to do the bed mostly white just because the furniture is a little darker, and like I said, I don't want this room to be dark. And I had this comforter. It's a Laura Ashley comforter, and I adore it, and I think it would look perfect for this look, although we probably will take it off the bed when we go to sleep. But here's a close-up look of this like aged, antiqued gray wood that I got. It's kind of like a weathered gray wood look to match these side tables. It's not exactly the same as the side tables, but remember, y'all, I am just trying to use what I have. I could not afford to go out and buy $1,000 new bed. I think most people can't afford that, especially right now. And so I want to show you that you don't have to do that. You don't have to go out and buy something that costs a fortune. You may just be able to make over what you already have. And I hope that all of the people that worked on projects for this Ugly Duckling Challenge feel so accomplished by finishing something that they've been wanting to finish for a long time. I can tell you right now, my mind is blown that we actually finished this, because we had been putting this off for 2 years almost. I would say a year and a half since we got this thing for free off of Facebook Marketplace. Another thing is, I had actually started looking on Facebook Marketplace for a new headboard, and the ones on Facebook Marketplace were all going for $200 and more on Facebook Marketplace, used. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, no way. So then I tried selling this one so that I could pay for a new one, and nobody wanted it. I didn't get a single message or anything, zero interest in it. And so I thought, okay, that's why the original person gave it away for free. But I want to show you this cute little wax statue that I got. I think I got it at Home Goods. Yeah, I got it at Home Goods. And I wanted to show you just a little bit of how I decorated on either side of this bed. But yeah, you guys, you don't need to go out and buy everything new. If you have something that is solid wood, sturdy, nothing's broken on it, then just paint it. Have a good time, and if you mess it up, that's okay, because you can paint over it again. Don't put too much stress on yourself. Just go out there and try and make what you have better. on a tight budget or whatever it is that your budget is, or you might even be able to find paint for free. You never know. Neighbors might have some left over. You could even use leftover wall paint from a different room in your house if you have, or if you had bought your house and there was leftover paint like mine. Like, that's not even my paint. It was just in this house when I bought it. So be money savvy, get creative, try different things, see what options you have out there within your budget, and just get creative, you guys. This is all about doing your best with what you have and feeling good and accomplished for what you did. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of outtakes for this video, but I did have one really good one of my husband. You guys never get to see his face, and he let me put this in here. It was heavier than he thought it was. Thank you to everybody who participated today in this Ugly Duckling Challenge. Go check out their videos in the description box down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!